I am not going to talk about cold beverages, and I'm not going to talk about dairy products. I'm going to talk about a type of salad.
For a number of years now, work has been proceeding in order to bring perfection to the crudely conceived idea of a transmission that would not only supply inverse reactive current for use in unilateral phase detractors, but would also be capable of automatically synchronizing cardinal gram meters.
I think if we could learn to avoid this one kind of salad, then every singer on the planet would be in better shape. That's a special kind of salad called a word salad.
Such an instrument is the turboencabulator.
It's something I've consumed a lot.
It is produced by the modial interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive diractance.
And it's something I would like to help you avoid.
The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panametric fam.
So I'm going to try to keep this actually as simple as possible. I'm going to read an example of a word salad for you and talk a little bit about how it's used, and then I'm going to explain to you how you can avoid this type of word salad even if you don't have the expertise already to simply detect that words are being used in a completely incoherent way. Getting grounded today keeps your vocal cords at play. While we talk a lot about the stacked position and finding the heels, the reality is that getting grounded is managing the entire foot and the information it sends to the rest of the body. Over the past year, I have had the great fortune of working with vocalists of all types. Some who are stuck in the middle of their feet and constantly producing tension, and others who cannot access the inside of their feet and have trouble creating tension altogether. The thing to understand, whether you are undergrounding or overgrounding, is that the body will always find a way to get the tension it needs to create the contraction of the vocal cords, pelvic floor, abs, etc. It just may not be the most efficient tool to do the job. Case in point. You use a rectus abdominis to close the rib cage because elastic recoil is not as present, or you over-adduct the vocal cords by kicking in the extrinsic laryngeal muscles to help the intrinsic stabilizers.
Moreover, whenever a fluorescent score motion is required, it may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal repleneration.
Put more simply, we have to upregulate our bigger, more global muscles that typically produce movement, like the rectus, to take on a postural stabilization function when support from below is not present. This also means the only way to teach the rectus and vocal cords to chill out and let go is to train what your foot is doing to manage the ground. Did you spot the word salad? Your clue about where the word salad is the sudden shift in language.
The main winding was of the normal lotus O delta type placed in panendermic semiboloid slots of the stator.
We go quite suddenly from the simplified language of someone who clearly knows what they're talking about. They can put it in easier words for you. They can lay it all out for you without using a whole lot of technical language. And then suddenly, in the real important moment, when he needs to convince us to spend more money.
It's not cheap, but I'm sure the government will buy it.
Suddenly we have a string of technical words that is gibberish. It's a word salad. It's a bunch of technical terms, basically mixed into a bowl and dumped on the page. Well, let's read the sentence again. You use a rectus abdominis to close the rib cage because elastic recoil is not as present, or you over-adduct the vocal cords by kicking in the extrinsic laryngeal muscles to help the intrinsic stabilizers. It's not in this article in order to make you ask questions. It's not there to... Do you know any more about the functioning of your vocal folds from reading this? Do you know what intrinsic stabilizers are? I don't, because I've never actually seen that word. I've never seen that term used. I've seen intrinsic laryngeal muscles and extrinsic laryngeal muscles that's used, but not intrinsic stabilizers. That sounds like something from a car.
It may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal repleneration.
When you come across these sudden shifts in the type of language being used, if we're going from plain language to suddenly technical, and then suddenly back to plain language again, that's a technique. That's a technique being used to manipulate you. Let the people know who feed you this word salad that you're not interested in word salads.